What's happening? You got the Retro Game Hippie coming at you once again with yet another pickup video of items that I've gotten either from a local thrift store, my Goodwill here in town, Facebook Marketplace or some app like that, or even eBay. If I see stuff on there that I want for a good price, I'll definitely snake stuff off of eBay. And of course, we're winding down, but there are still some garage sales out there. So if I find some at a garage sale, I'll find it. It still amazes me how much stuff I've been finding that I like from my collection at prices that I think are definitely a good deal. It was only a few months ago that I already did, or a few weeks ago. I think I just did a last video. So hopefully this might be the last little pickup video I do for a while because I'm starting to accumulate too much stuff and I definitely need to thin that herd, but I probably bring that up all the time. So first off, we're going to start off with what everybody really likes to probably find is video games. This was on Facebook Marketplace about 60 miles away. A system I don't have in this mode, and I really like junior systems or the mini systems, and that's a Super Nintendo Junior, I think is what it's called officially. But it's the condensed version of the Super Nintendo that was released. This was probably released around 92. I'm not sure exactly. I, of course, have a Super Nintendo. I don't have the mini version, and now I do. Came with 2 controllers, power pack, and 5 games that I'll show you here. He was asking, it was $150 on the Facebook Marketplace, which I think was a good deal if you wanted one, which I did. Games are not my thing, so I'll probably trade or resell these games. Super Mario Kart. That's a really fun game. I'll probably end up keeping it. Donkey Kong Country 3. Donkey Kong Country 2. Good labels. I haven't tested it, but I have little to no doubt that's going to work. Tasmania in Legend of Zelda. This is a select player's choice, select whatever, greatest hits version of it. So he was asking $150 for all that, and instead of having him ship it, he was coming up by where I was at, so he just drove it up to me. I met him, took a look at it all, and I gave him $170 because he drove up here. I figured you'd throw him a few extra bucks. That mini system, I would price at about $100 if I wanted one. So the games, that's not $70 maybe retail there. So, I overpaid a little bit, but I'm going to recoup and, end up with a system that I didn't have before with those games there. And that was really cool of him to bring it up here. Facebook Marketplace ad that was nearby had a few small items that I picked up. More from the 90s or 80s kind of vibe, or I'm not really sure, but maybe 70s. And this was $5 for all these items. It's a little first aid kit. No Band-Aids, but it still has some of the gauze and the tin and plastic. I'll put this in my car anyway. And I just like the look of this era. Another Stanley thermos, because I need a Stanley thermos. For my coffee, you saw what I did with the last one. Now I got more sticker space. And last but not least, I think this is probably from the 80s or 90s. Chances are it's not for me to wear, but a Pepsi hat. Usually you can tell by the logo there. I think I looked at the tag, and I really didn't see a year on it, so I was just going by the logo. So $5 for all that. And then we got my local Goodwill, which, I don't really find video game stuff. I did a little while ago find some Wii things, but generally it's just pop culture stuff, things like that I like to get, board games, things of that nature. VHS, of course, which are 99 cents there, and we'll start off with that. Batman from 1989, the Michael Keaton, awesome. I saw this in the theater. I really want to try to stick away from collecting VHS. It takes a lot of space, but I really like the format. Heavy Metal, I don't think I've seen this, but I've heard it's got a good soundtrack. Heavy Metal 2000. So we'll see how the updated version did. And a couple of Indiana Jones films, Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom, which is just an amazing film. Their reels were all, mold-free, which is something you want to check for VHS. There was the other Last of the Crusade, that box set of Indiana Jones, and that one did have a little mold on it. I showed the clerk to let him know, but I really don't think they care. But for 99 cents, definitely a good deal there. And then for $3.99, they had from the 70s, this is a Marchin' Mickey doll. And he's complete from what I can see, just dirty. And when you squeeze his hands, he marches along. So squeeze the hands and the feet move. So $4 from that, from the Goodwill. And then oddly enough, thermoses, They had from, I think this is 70s or 80s, Dunkin' Donuts thermos. In really good shape. For $2.99. Which I'll definitely use. I went to a Dunkin' Donuts a few times as a kid down in Oregon, but I don't see any of them up here, and donuts aren't really a big thing up here. And board games, $9.99. Star Trek, it's all complete. This looks like some massive Star Trek trivia game, to be honest with you. But I've picked up quite a few Star Trek items here in the past, and so, I'll bundle all that stuff together down the road and get rid of it in one big Star Trek lot. One more board game from the 1961, Milton Bradley, and it's the American Civil War game. And it's complete, of course, as well. And this one was $2.99. And it kind of looks like a Risk type of game when I was looking at the directions and inventorying it, and looks super cool. Those are the kinds of things I find at Goodwill a lot here, are board games from the 80s. I pass up on a lot of them. It just depends on what they are or what type of game it is. So last but not least, we have one more Facebook Marketplace score. Originally, this seller had the 3 sleeping bags that are in this pack for $50, which is odd because I just picked up sleeping bags for me, if you saw my last video, from eBay. These are not the same sleeping bags in terms of characters, but they're from that era. So they had 3 of those for $50. And then the guy said, I also have a bunch of other random stuff. So I went over there and I picked through. And so for altogether $110, including the sleeping bags, is what I paid for all of this stuff. And here we go. We got a Hasbro WWF ring. Now this is in really rough shape. It's missing one top rope up here that would be white with the turnbuckles. The sticker's there. It's a little bubbled, but, the stickers are all there, but it's missing a flag. So really rough shape, but it is complete. I've had one of those in the past in about that same kind of condition. So I picked that up because he had that there in the big pile. I picked up some movie posters, which is something I really don't do. But I thought, eventually I'm going to set up some kind of a shop, and I'll adorn this with some movie posters. And this one, I'll try to get a big shot, is Rambo Part 2. Only using the iPhone here, so it's really, really difficult for me to lay this out. It's a good shot of old Rambo, First Blood 2 with Stallone. This is from The Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, but it's a cool poster, but I think it would have been more iconic with that photo of Mel Gibson with the shotgun and his dog that you see on the VHS. But The Road Warrior. And the last poster there is from a great 80s film, Gremlins. Now these are folded up, okay shape, obviously not stellar shape, but, throw it into the pile of stuff for $100 and something, and I'm good with that. Been getting a lot of Smurf stuff. This is a big Smurf full sheet, just the sheet there. So I'll put that with my Smurf stuff from the 80s. A whole bunch of these G.I. Joe file cards that were just cut up in the wrong way as far as they took the file card, but the graphics are kind of neat, and it was just something to throw in the pile, I wouldn't value those very much, but I know some G.I. Joe collectors that I'll give them to. Sleeping bags, we got the real Ghostbusters from the 80s with Egon and Winston, the cartoon that was based on the movie. And then these two are the same, so I'll just show one. And these are all in good condition. But it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 90s, big full graphics on it. I got a lot of turtle stuff sitting in my storage unit, so I'll add this to it. And another one, exact same thing. And last but not least, from there, for that $110, we got some VHS. So, of course, I picked up some Turtles VHS cartoons. Throw into those Turtles lots. I just picked this up not too long ago, but the Dark Crystal. I started watching this too, and quite frankly, it was kind of boring. It looks good, but I was just it was losing my attention. But this is the Green Clamshell, which is kind of neat. Never saw this, but Captain Planet, and the 2 video game related VHSs, Donkey Kong Country Exposed. I think you would order this through like Nintendo Power or something like that. And this one I wasn't really familiar with, and I'm still really not, because I didn't do a lot of research. I just knew, it's Donkey Kong Clamshell. It probably came out in the same time. It's a little bit longer cartoon film. It's actually 88 minutes, and it came from 1999. So I'm not really familiar with it, but it is video game related. It's pretty cool. So a lot more cool stuff to add to my collection. My storage unit's getting overflowed, that I'm almost thinking of getting a separate storage unit for the stuff that I don't want to keep, and then figure out how I'm going to do a show or something this little town I'm in sometime in the next few months. But not a lot of attention being focused to that right now. Thanks for watching once again. I'm the Retro Gaming Hippie. I don't buy nostalgia because I am nostalgia. You folks take care of yourselves out there.